Marshall Peak, Chapter 2403, Children Shouldn't Look. Published by Divine Tao Library. Translator, Salavan and Godbrandy. Translation checker, Pew Pew Laser Gun. Editor and proofreader, Leo of Zion Mountain and Dale Ligerkeys. The five-colored spear was definitely Yao Chang Jun's Emperor artifact. Emperor artifacts were very rare, and even Emperor Realm Masters may not have one. Each of them was regarded as a treasure, and the owner wouldn't easily part with it. Since his Emperor artifact had appeared in Yang Kai's hand, it meant that Yao Chang Jun had very likely fallen. No wonder Pan Guang didn't see Yao Chang Jun after coming to the solitary void-sealed world. He encountered Yang Kai, but not Yao Chang Jun. The reason was now clear. It wasn't that Yao Chang Jun had been hiding too well, it was because he was no longer in this world. However, Yang Kai was just a Dao Source Realm cultivator. How did he manage to kill Yao Chang Jun? And if he didn't kill him, how did he get his hands on the five-colored spear? Pan Guang looked at the five-colored spear in a daze. He was unable to determine if Yang Kai was telling the truth or not. Just as he was lost in thought, he felt a chill from behind. This chill came out of nowhere, and by the time Pan Guang noticed it, it was too late to dodge the attack. Light flashed, accompanied by what seemed to be a tiger's roar. Pan Guang felt a sharp pain in his back, as well as an enormous force, which made him lose his balance. He was pushed forward, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Before he could get a hold of himself, Yang Kai was already upon him, a wicked grin on his face. Yang Kai raised his hand and punched out, his fist covered in fluctuating space principle. Wherever this fist passed, black cracks were left behind, like space itself was being shattered. Pan Guang gasped as he pushed his Emperor Qi madly into his copper gong to protect himself. Hong! With a loud explosion, light flickered wildly above the copper gong. From the looks of it, the Emperor artifact's spirituality had been damaged, which greatly pained Pan Guang. However, it wasn't the time to worry about his Emperor artifact as Pan Guang's face paled, borrowing the force behind Yang Kai's attack to put some distance between them. Scylla! A dangerous aura burst out alongside a muffled sound, and the world seemed to flash as a bolt of lightning shot out from somewhere and accurately hit Pan Guang. Pan Guang, an Emperor Realm Master, twitched non-stop after the bolt of lightning hit him. His hair stood on end, and the smell of burned flesh filled the air. He looked rather pitiful right now. His expression seemed to crack as he forced himself to turn and look sideways, his eyes widening right after. He saw an 8-year-old girl that looked like a piece of fine carved jade, her expression icy, holding a blue bead in her hand, riding a white tiger, staring coldly at him. Whether it was the little girl or the white tiger, they seemed to appear out of nowhere. Pan Guang hadn't sensed their presence at all, but it was now clear that the surprise attacks he suffered just now were this pair's doing. What surprised him the most was that the blue bead in the little girl's hand was a Thunder Attribute Emperor artifact. Perhaps because her cultivation wasn't high enough, the little girl's face was pale right now. It seemed she'd consumed a lot of energy to use this Emperor artifact. What the hell is going on? Pan Guang couldn't make sense of the situation. Everything happening before his eyes was unbelievable. At this time, someone shouted, "Pan Guang, this place is going to be your burial ground. Just hurry up and die." Pan Guang was startled. He no longer dared to underestimate Yang Kai. Although he came here with the intent of settling their old debts, he didn't expect to end up half dead before even touching his enemy. What's more, the tiger-like monster beast gave off a 12th order aura, meaning it was on par with an Emperor Realm cultivator, not something he could deal with right now. As if that wasn't enough, there was also Yang Kai nearby, looking at him menacingly. Pan Guang's current situation was utterly hopeless. Had he known earlier, he would have never come here. Staying behind and cheering on Qi Ri would have been better. Filled with regret, Pan Guang turned around, ready to flee. Solidify! Yang Kai shouted as he saw through his intentions. Space principles converged, solidifying the surrounding space, making it difficult for Pan Guang to move. This slight delay was enough to decide his fate. The white tiger turned into a beam of light under Lu Yan's command, appearing beside Pan Guang, opening its bloody mouth and biting his neck. Pan Guang was scared out of his wits as he pushed his Emperor Qi to protect his neck from being snapped into two halves. At the same time, he started to struggle in an attempt to free himself from the white tiger's maw. "Get in here." Yang Kai smiled coldly as he threw the sealed world bead in his hand at Pan Guang. Pan Guang, the white tiger, and Lu Yan were all sucked inside. In the next moment, Yang Kai also entered the small sealed world. Somewhere in the small sealed world, Pan Guang used all of his strength and even burned his blood essence to shake off the white tiger, but when he turned around, he was stunned. The sea was nowhere to be seen. All around him was lush vegetation, singing birds, the fragrance of flowers, and rich world energy. This place seemed to be a paradise. Am I already dead? Is this the next life? Sweat dripped from Pan Guang's forehead. Luckily, he saw Yang Kai, which calmed him down. With everything he went through earlier, on top of his previous injuries which had yet to heal, Pan Guang was in a rather sorry state at this moment. He'd long lost the demeanor of an Emperor Realm Master. Yang Kai sneered as he stared at Pan Guang as if he was looking at a dead man. Pan Guang's eyes darted around, looking shaken as he muttered, "What is this damned place?" Yang Kai grinned, "Of course, this is your grave. Aren't you moved by this young master's kindness? I chose such a wonderful place to bury you. Others can only dream of having such an opportunity. City Lord Pang, it seems your ancestors' good deeds have paid off." Paid off, your sister. Pan Guang cursed inwardly. He was so angry that his stomach started to hurt. However, he didn't dare to curse out loud. He still continued to talk tough, though, "If you want to kill me, you'll have to show some skills first." He then looked at the white tiger. His expression was one of worry. He wasn't really scared of Yang Kai. The one that worried him the most was this white tiger which gave off a 12th order aura. He still wasn't sure what this thing was, as although it seemed to be a monster beast, he couldn't feel any vitality from it. It looked like a lifeless object, yet it was so lifelike. Yang Kai laughed, "Now that you're here, your life is in this young master's hands. If I want you to live, you'll live. If I want you to die, you'll die. You're speaking as if you're the ruler of this world. Boy, be careful not to get ahead of yourself," Pan Guang said disdainfully. Yang Kai snorted, "You said it right. In this place, I'm the absolute ruler." He then stretched out his hand, palming at Pan Guang from afar. Pan Guang didn't see him use any secret technique, nor did he sense any energy fluctuations, yet when Yang Kai palmed down, Pan Guang felt a huge pressure come from above. All the bones in his body crackled as he was pushed downward. Pan Guang exclaimed in shock, "You can actually mobilize the world force here. That's impossible. Not even the 10 great emperors could make use of world force so easily. There should not be anyone capable of controlling this power in this world." Yet, Yang Kai was able to do just that. After the world force struck his body, Pan Guang could barely lift a finger. Pan Guang's eyes trembled as he was absolutely terrified. Under this huge pressure, he couldn't move at all, feeling like his body was about to be smashed to pieces. He wanted to resist, but he couldn't muster his strength. "Don't kill him, give him to me," a booming voice echoed, causing Pan Guang's eardrums to tingle. Still in a daze, he raised his head and looked in the voice's direction. In the next moment, his heart skipped a beat. A colossal, human-shaped stone giant was sitting cross-legged not too far from him, its eyes, which were bigger than a house, staring at him with great interest. The voice just now belonged to this stone giant. Even the soles of Pan Guang's feet twitched. Earlier, he mistook this stone giant for a hill, but little did he expect that it was actually alive and could even speak. Moreover, the stone giant looked at him like a hungry wolf, its expression instilling great fear in Pan Guang. Yang Kai raised his brow as he gazed at his embodiment. "You want to do that? Isn't that a bit too cruel?" Embodiment grinned, "I have to once in a while. You killed so many Emperor Realm cultivators, yet you sent none here. Since I managed to bump into one, I can't just let him get away." Yang Kai pondered, then nodded, "All right, let's do it your way." He looked at Pan Guang with some pity before disappearing, leaving the small sealed world. "Where are you going? What were you talking about just now?" Pan Guang shouted. For some reason, he felt very uncomfortable, as if what was about to happen was something worse than death, causing his face to lose all color. He didn't know what this stone giant wanted to do, but judging from Yang Kai's words and the last gaze he gave him before leaving, it was obviously nothing good. While he was panicking, he noticed that the light above his head was blocked. Turning his eyes up with difficulty, he saw a giant palm coming down on him. Pan Guang bellowed, "Stop, get away from me." The embodiment ignored him, simply grabbing him and lifting him up, dropping him in his other palm before saying in a low voice, "Close your eyes. Children shouldn't look, or they'll be traumatized." Pan Guang. The embodiment continued in a low voice, his expression solemn, heaven devouring. Battle law.